And I think kind of like what made the film different was finding that idea, that solution to how to like express her voice, and I think that's what changed everything.
So, as documentary filmmakers, we are dealing with real life, right? And real people. And naturally, that means that we have a lot of constraints sometimes, depending whether it's schedule or um, where someone lives, or I don't know. There's so many different things that it could be. And in this situation, Makayla, it was nonverbal at the beginning of this journey. So, how was that as a challenge? How did you think of it as a director, and how did you think to have the style to accomplish her perspective?
That's a great question. It honestly was very difficult at the beginning because as directors we try to think that the job is about controlling, and sometimes at least in this case it was about letting go. Because you can direct Michaela. There were days that I had the whole crew, and when I say the whole crew, it was like three of us.
Yeah.
Uh, and we just got there and she wasn't feeling it. So, and we were like expecting to film for at least like to do at least like half a day. And we just had to like go and was like, let's just shoot B-roll of Atlanta because we couldn't do it. So that was difficult. Something that helped because I kind of like had a script before we started shooting, as
Mhm.
a script basically with her writings and with the structure that I wanted. But I didn't know how I was gonna tell the story. Initially, I wanted to almost make it like a silent film with only subtitles, and then I realized if it's more than 5 minutes, it's just gonna be very boring. So the first thing that I saw was the intro. Once I kind of like got the idea to give her a voice, I saw that intro immediately. I knew that I wanted to start with the snake. I knew that I wanted to do the rewinds, and I think kind of like what made the film different was finding that idea, that solution to how to like express her voice, and I think that's what changed everything. And then when we said, because I was just gonna do it and I was gonna find a voice myself, I was gonna read this thing, and then I started talking to my team, and I don't remember who had the idea. Maybe it was all of us. We did like a brainstorming session, and then um when we had that idea, we were like, this is really cool if we just film her selecting this voice. So I reached out to my audio guy. We auditioned like 30 voices. I pre-selected 15. And then she selects the voice in the film. You actually see her doing the writing. And I think that changed everything because I started to see that it was very difficult to direct her and that I wasn't getting what I needed for the film. Once I had the voice, I knew I could kind of like cut the film and then see what I needed visually. And that's what we did. Once I worked with Portia, because I had the script, I actually edited this with my editor without any visuals. But I had the music. When I was writing the script, I was like already plugging in music too. I want this song to be here. I want this song to be here. So we edit everything to the voiceover without any visuals. But even then, when we were just like closing our eyes and just listening to this like 20-minute conversation with Makayla, it was just powerful. We knew, even no, when I did the voiceover with Portia, and I know we're gonna potentially talk about that after this. At that moment, I knew that this film could be very, very special.
Mm. Yeah. It's so interesting. Like it's almost like challenges are opportunities, and it's like, well, it's actually interesting to think inside the box a little bit. Like, well, we don't have all the options in the world, right? We have constraints, but how can we creatively problem solve? And so I think it's so I mean, because when I first watched it, I, of course, didn't know anything about it. I just turned it on Netflix. I'm like, "Cool, I'm gonna watch this." I normally never read log lines. I normally just, like, start watching stuff. And I will say, like, as a viewer, for the first time, it was a little I was, like, confused at first, like, "Oh, like, what's happening? Like, why are we rewinding? Like, why are there different voices?" And then as soon as I saw the real life moment of Makayla saying, letterboarding Portia, like, "Portia's my voice." It was like, whoa, it all made sense. And then the rest of the film was just all the more powerful because it was like, wow, like it's really Michaela's voice. Like, yes, it's not her voice, but she chose it. She's the one that's creatively, these are her thoughts. And in her mind, this is like the best representation of it.